We're here once again, dealer training. We have an excited installation to do for you today. Most importantly, we're here to share some information, insight on the different connections and everything that gets done in this vehicle. Quick service announcements. Keep in mind, we do this every Thursday, the last Thursday of every month. We also have our live podcast, actually not live podcast. We do our podcast once a week as well. They air on Mondays. So make sure that you guys are plugging into this information. There is an arsenal of information. You guys wouldn't believe the amount of calls we get, asking questions about things that are answered in our videos. So get your installers, get your people plugged into our channel, because we are truly making a conscious effort to share this information with you guys, so that even if we're not available over the phone, you guys can start learning a lot of these things online. Stay plugged into our YouTube channel. I promise you, there is a lot of information for you to learn and so much to gain from. One other thing, remember to comment, ask any questions. We have the infamous John Ditlefson in the house. Any questions you guys have, he's there to answer them for you. And so other than that, we have a giveaway at the end of today's live training. It is a wolf box or red tiger. I can't remember which one of the two, but we do have a free giveaway. That fan will literally blow things away. It's small, it's tiny, but it's packed with a lot of strength. Other than that, so keep in mind that we also have this opportunity to collab with different dealers. So if you want to showcase your store, we'd like to invite you to call us so that we could do a podcast together. You'll be in your shop doing it from your phone, and we would be in our studio collaborating, talking about your store, what you guys specialize in, and we'll throw a few minutes in there about your relationship with LinksWell. But most importantly, the idea is to start reaching more audience beyond our YouTube channel. Our marketing department will put some funds into it and make sure that Google pushes it through every single channel out there, so that your store is featured and a lot of the people within your geographical area gets to see what you guys do, what you specialize in, and most importantly, that you guys are a LinksWell dealer. All right, so having said that, let's get started. This is a 2019 GMC Yukon Denali. We have done a little bit of prep work here, as you could see. We've taken it apart, but we've put it back together a little bit so that we could gain some time here, only because we don't want to spend a lot of time disassembling the vehicle. But before we go here, we're gonna go on the bench and we're gonna show you everything that comes inside of the box. This is a 15.6 XL features and functions pack. So let me go over to our bench and I'll go over those details with you. So here we are. Inside the box, obviously you're going to receive the XL radio with the fit and finish panel. We'll go over how it looks and all of the physical parts of the radio. But inside the box, you're gonna receive 1, 2, 3, 4 bags. In one of those bags, the first one here, basically includes all of your accessories. And we've gone through this before, but just so you guys get more familiar with it, this is where you have your RCA pre-outs. This is an off-white connector, front rear sub out, as well as your microphone. That's all there. The RCAs are protected so that they don't induce any unwanted noise, just in case they happen to touch any bare metal surface in the background. We also have this gray connector. This is our auxiliary audio input, left, right, plus, auxiliary audio video input, just in case you guys want to use some kind of aftermarket video system in there. We also have a power plug, red, yellow, and white, constant power, ignition power, and ground. So if you want to add any aftermarket cameras beyond the factory backup camera and you want to power it, ignition 12 volt out, here it is, black and ground. This is what you would be using to power your aftermarket camera. 4 amps maximum coming out of that plug. We also have our backup camera input harness. In this particular case, if you're not adding any additional aftermarket cameras, you're only going to be using the one that's labeled right here. It is labeled factory cam input. The other one is your front and your side camera inputs. These here happen to be camera power outputs. This is if you're adding aftermarket cameras. You can also use these wires to power your cameras. 90% of the time, you're only going to use the factory camera input on this black plug. Aside from that, inside that same bag, we have the microphone. The microphone comes with two different mounting options. It has got the ball joint that sticks on, or the clip with a ball joint. So you can clip it onto the A-pillar, or you can stick it onto the windshield right above the driver's side's head. And then we also have here the white plug, standard USB in, you guys. You want to put videos, music, you know, into a USB thumb drive or a bigger USB drive. You know, we can handle up to 1 terabyte. Make sure it is solid state. If it's a spinning disk type, you'll be there forever looking for files. So we can handle up to 1 terabyte on that USB input. Inside of that same bag, you're going to receive Wi-Fi antenna, GPS antenna, sorry, pick that up, GPS antenna, and then we have our chime speaker as well as the CAN box module. Keep in mind that in any application that we provide you with, there are no third-party integration companies. It is all included A through Z, a LinksWell solution. So whether you're having any questions about audio, questions about the screen, questions about vehicle features and functions, you're calling LinksWell. We are not sending you to a third-party integration company that helped us put this together so that you can put this into that car. It is all embedded into our CAN bus module. Steering wheel controls, factory backup camera retention, BOSE retention, it's all done here. You know what I'm gonna do? John, if you could please, one thing I forgot to get was the BOSE integration module from the Trace, Jeff Trace. Please, thank you. So we're gonna be going over BOSE retention. I'll show you how that plugs in and how it goes. And then these are two brackets that we include in there. So you'll see where these two brackets go. Inside of these, this little bag here, these are just beauty clips. These are to be used in junction with these brackets. So these brackets are going to mount up high on the dash, and there's two screw holes up at the top. So they will go through our plastic panel. This is for added support at the top of our radio because the screen is so top heavy. We made sure that we add some top support. I'll show you where that goes. Now, inside of the other bag, you're going to receive additional antennas like your two 4G LTE antennas. This is your AM/FM antenna adapter. It is the amplified version, so you're gonna connect this blue wire to the remote turn-on output of our radio. And so then we also have our AC climate control cable. One end is gonna go into our CAN bus module here. The other end goes into the radio, and the other end will go into the car. So this is to help you guys get more familiar with how these wires are used, where they plug in, and so that way, you know, when you do this, you feel like you've done it 10,000 different times. So in addition to the antennas, the AC control harness, there is our red connector. This is an additional USB. Well, one of these is for wired Android Auto. Both CarPlay and Android Auto are wireless, but if you want to do wired, Android Auto is the only one, and this one's labeled Phone Link. That's the one that you would plug into. The other end of this harness, it is used to retain the factory USB ports in the car. Now, there is a purple plug. This one here is labeled SPDIF. Yes, we have Toslink fiber optic output coming out of our radio, you guys. So if you want to go full-blown digital DSP, this is your output, the cleanest, the best sounding output in the market today. So you want to be able to take advantage of that. In addition to that, this is a blue plug. It has, it's called the OnStar audio cable. So coming out of the main harness, there's one harness labeled OnStar audio out. We have inputs, but you choose either the left side of the vehicle or the right side of the vehicle? What side of the vehicle do you want the audio to play through? Because it's a mono audio signal, we don't necessarily have a stereo out, but you could, if you want to, use a Y adapter to go into both. It's all optional. You can use just one or the other, or add your own YRCA in there. So moving on to the next bag, excuse me, we have this, this is our steering wheel control retention harness. You do have to go into the steering wheel column, and you're gonna be accessing a plug. We're gonna share, this is very similar, identical to the 14 through 18 Chevy Silverado GMC Sierra steering wheel control harness. It plugs in exactly the same way. So we're gonna be sharing that video once this live stream gets edited. You'll be able to see that in there. We have that pre-recorded. We just don't wanna, you know, spend all the time removing the steering wheel column plastics, but this harness installs exactly the same way. So this T-harness goes steering wheel column, and then it's long enough, I'm stretching it here, so that you can route the other plug into the back of the new radio. It's a 2-pin plug, pink wire, black wire. The main harness, which is the one I'm pointing at right now, has a plug specifically for this one, and it's labeled SWC. So you would be making that connection right there. So that's what's included inside of the third bag. Steering wheel control retention harness, CD jumper. Depending on the audio system in the vehicle, you will be using this jumper. Most audio cable, also you're going to be using it. This is your backup camera retention harness. This harness has got a long yellow RCA cable. It's because it's designed to plug into the HMI module behind the glove box, and then this cable runs up into the back of the radio. We have this one already installed in the vehicle. You will get to see it here shortly. And you have this CD jumper cable. Once you pull the CD player out, that's where that plug is going to plug into this one. You want to make sure that you use that. So aside from this third bag, you're going to receive a fourth bag, which is either IO3, IO4, IO5, or IO6 connections. You'll know because once you start disassembling it, you'll see the green and the gray connectors that are plugged into the main radio. It's either those or the IOB. I've noticed that 9.9 out of 10 times, it's this one, because the Yukon XL, maybe if it's a low-end Suburban and you don't have the screen that slides up and down, you're probably gonna have IOB. Inside of the IOB bag, you'll notice that the main power plugs to the main radio are the gray and brown connectors instead of the gray and green connectors. This would happen to be a non-BOSE application. This would happen to be a BOSE application. In addition to the main harness for IOB, the backup camera is handled differently. You don't have to go to the HMI module. There is a plug that's plugged into the factory screen. We include this paper in there that shows you that plug. And the reason why we do this, it's because inside of that plug, there are 4 pins, pins 5 and 7, pins 6 and 8. You're basically gonna take these 2 jumpers and you're gonna short those 4 pins. Pin number 5 to pin number 7, pin number 6 to pin number 8. That's why we include this in there, and make sure that you pay attention, because otherwise you're gonna be plugging in the backup camera and you're gonna get no video signal. All right, now that we have all of the parts that are included in the kit, let's dissect the main harness. So main harness, here it is, main plug into the back of our radio. This has front and rear speaker outputs. That's high level. And so over here would be your non-BOSE. As you can see, we've got the 2 whites, 2 greens, 2 grays, 2 purples. And then we have our power connection. Here's the other plug that you would be using coming out of the main radio. CAN bus connector here. It's labeled 2 CAN box. So you would grab our CAN bus module, plug it right in here. Okay. The AC harness will plug into the other end. aside from CAN bus, we have our, it's labeled multi-camera power. We're not using this one right now. This is for future expansion purposes. You won't be using this one. The loose wires, your remote turn on is labeled amp EN and it's orange. The other ones are a manual reverse trigger and hardwired steering wheel controls, which you're not gonna be using because the steering wheel controls are already embedded into the CAN bus module, okay? So that's the loose wires. There's that camera power that we're currently not using. This is the speaker output plug that's gonna go to the chime box. So that's gonna plug in there. Now we have our SWC connector, which we already talked about. This comes from the steering wheel column. And then we have the other two main power speaker plugs. This is our most audio plug right here. So if you have BOSE, you're gonna be using this white connector. And our BOSE retention module basically looks like this. So it's a blue box, just like this, single plug. This plug will go in here. The other two connectors, one is gonna go to the most audio plug on our harness, and the other one is gonna plug into the BOSE plug that you disconnected from the main radio. We'll go ahead and show you that here shortly. So let me put this to the side for now. So that's it for the main harness. You'll notice two yellow RCAs. One of them is labeled IO3 camera output, and the other one is your OnStar audio. OnStar audio is the only one you're gonna be using because the factory backup camera doesn't come from this main harness. It comes from this particular harness. Now, so there it is. This is all that's included. Keep in mind that if you have a customer who uses polarized sunglasses, polarized prescription glasses, and they happen to have a hard time being able to view the screen because of the polarized function of their lenses, we have a custom 15.6 inch tempered glass screen protector that's gonna help them be able to see their screen with their polarized lenses. We're not gonna go over how to install it, but it is pre-cut to fit in here just perfectly. So keep that in mind, you guys. Talk to your customers whenever you're talking to them about a LinksWell solution. It is available in the 10, in the 12, in the 13, and the 15.6 solution. So that tempered glass screen protector is available for every single one of our SKUs. Cool. So having said that, let's go in the car. Let's disassemble the dash. Well, what's left of it, because we've basically taken apart most of it. Remember, if I miss anything, let me know. But in this case, I would get started with pulling down the plastic that's underneath driver's side knee pad. So this part right here, there's two T15 Torx on the left side where the fuse box is. So you would pop that panel out, undo the two T15s that are on the side, then you can pull this panel straight down. Once you have that straight down, the very next thing that I would do is I would lift up the armrest and I would pop this piece out. It's all clips that are holding it in place. There's really nothing special about this particular panel, but what that's gonna do is it's gonna allow me to now basically pop the center console area. This just lifts right up, and on this piece there's two connectors that are for your power outlets, your heated seats, cooled seats. So there's two connectors on this. One's here and the other one is right there. So those are the two plugs that are gonna handle everything that's on this console. Let me just kind of put this off to the side for now. And so once you've done that, basically this part here, two number 7 bolts are gonna be holding this plastic piece in place. Once you take those out, it's all clips holding this onto the subframe. Now you will need two clips, the top ones and the bottom side ones. On this particular panel, you're gonna have the AC control plug that you need. Remember, I showed you the CAN bus harness. One goes to the CAN bus, the other one goes to our harness, and the other one goes in here. So you're gonna need that. In addition to that, there's a sensor, and let me see if I could dig it out over here. So there's a sensor that is, let me unplug it so I could show it to you guys, because this one here simply unmounts, and you're gonna be mounting this onto our new bezel. So one side drops in there and the other side. So that's how this sensor is mounted on the factory panel. You're gonna push this clip right here, lift up and out of the way. You're gonna need this particular sensor from the panel. So that's it as far as this trim that goes around the screen. Next, I'm gonna show you what else is holding. Let me plug this in so I don't forget. What else is holding this entire panel together? So we have screws that are holding the vents. You're gonna wanna undo 1, 2 number 7s on these vents, and that's gonna allow you to pop these out, and you wanna pop them out so it's 1, 2 here, there's a third one right up here. That's what's gonna allow you to take both vents out, this one as well as the one on the driver's side. The one on the driver's side, you have to remove the push to start panel first, but before you do that, there's a number 7 down here. You're gonna take off the number 7 from down here. The push to start panel then just pops out, and you don't have to disconnect it. You can just move it to the side, but that's gonna give you access to the 3 number 7 screws that are holding the driver's side vent. 1 here, 2 there, third one right over here. The reason why you want to take these out, it's because if you don't, you won't gain access to the number 7s that are holding the screen, the radio controls in place, you know, on the side as well as down here. So it's a bunch of number 7s just holding this entire thing together. Now, once you have taken this, you know, all the number 7s out, this entire piece basically slides out. And on the back, there is a total of 1, 2, and 3. So none of these plugs you're gonna use. I'm gonna show you where they are. It's these 3 plugs right over here. None of these 3 plugs you're gonna use. So you can start, you know, forgetting about them. Don't worry about them, leave them alone. You're not gonna need them. Put that off to the side. So once this entire you know, all this is out, next, remember, you need to open the steering wheel column. That harness is gonna run from underneath here all the way into the radio bezel. Now I have all of our harnesses already plugged in, but I will go over them and show you them just so you get familiar with them. But before we do that, let's go here behind the glove box. So I'll show you. You don't have to disassemble too much of the glove box, but let me switch angles here. So glove box is in here. There is the retractable clip that comes out of this hole right there. You have to undo that. And once you undo that, then you can push the ears. And when I say the ears, I talk about these wings here. You push them in so that the glove box can drop. Or what I found out that was easier is if you leave it up, clipped in, you're gonna be able to remove the 2 pins that are holding the glove box in place right at the hinges. So 2 pins holding the glove box in place right at the hinges is what's going to allow you to completely take it out. I had those pins here somewhere. Oh, they are right here. So these are, remember, because you're going to be putting these back in there. So these are the 2 pins that are holding the glove box hinges in place. So once you have the glove box out, there's this cover. It is a total of, I'll show you, 2, 4, 6 T15s. So there is 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this is up there. I believe it's like this. So this is up there. So once you pull this out, then you'll have access to the HMI module. So let me show you this angle. And this is where This is where the factory backup camera plug is. You see that gray plug right there? I already have it plugged into my backup camera harness. It came out of that connector right there. So that's all you're doing. All you're doing is gaining access to the backup camera harness so that you could do that. Once you do that, then you bring your backup camera signal in here. And next, I would talk about mounting your antennas. So you have 4G LTE antennas, perfect spots underneath this top tray. There's a spot here for your 4G LTE antennas. Our GPS antenna is also right up in here. So find some flat surfaces to mount your GPS, Wi-Fi, and 4G LTE antennas. You could bundle all the excess like this and only have the slack that you need. The beauty about this dash is there's tons of space back here so that you could just let the wires rest. You don't have to get, you know, too creative. I had this bundle and this one here basically zip tied together right over here, but I'll just leave that alone for now. But I also have here, as you could see, the BOSE retention module. It's mounted on top of this flat surface. I did add some double side tape to it just so that it's not bouncing around. But I did mount it on top of this plastic piece right here. And then you have the two wires that are coming down. Here is, this is where those two connectors are. So here is the one that I disconnected. This came from the factory radio, and the factory radio is still here. I mean, from the angle on the side, you could still see it. So this plug was plugged into the factory radio right there. Pulled that out, plugged it into our BOSE retention harness, and then the output out of our main harness, it's right here. So that's it as far as BOSE retention. The additional plugs that you have on the radio, so if you look over here, let me just move these harnesses out the way. I'm going to show you that the radio is still here. I haven't taken it out. It's still in place. So we have brown plug, that's your factory USB ports, white and black connectors. You're not gonna need, actually, yes, this is your AM/FM antenna, and then you have your gray and green connectors. So that's it as far as the radio. You see my connections right here, green and gray. Here is the IO3 backup camera that I'm not using, and here is the yellow RCA. This is the yellow RCA that's coming from the HMI module that you saw, which is this one here. What I like to do, it makes life very easy, is if you bundle all the colored plugs, your off-whites, your greens, your blues, your grays, bundle them together. This will help you not forget any of them, as well as the AM/FM antennas. Sorry, as well as all of your other antennas. Here is our antenna adapter right over here. Here's the main harness, and all this is already plugged into the CAN bus module. This is our AC control harness. This one goes to the AC. This one is labeled so that you don't forget. It goes to radio, and then this is going to the plug that I disconnected from the AC control panel. And that's really it. There are going to be some plugs that you're going to wonder, well, what about this? What about that? Watch this video, and remember, don't worry about these other plugs that you're not using. We don't need all of them. Remember, the factory has a radio separate from the main screen, separate from the main AC controls. We have it all in one. So there's a lot of plugs that you're not going to need, you're not going to use. This right here is we call it a CD jumper. This is the one that was plugged into that black plug. You'll see it there, as well as, yeah, so that would be the only one. Yeah, so keep in mind, don't worry about any of the plugs that are left. Just keep in mind, watch this video, and you'll be able to see what it is that you do or you don't need. The 4G LTE antennas are so that you could get a SIM card on this radio that will allow you to receive internet all the time onto this radio. Now remember, our radios, obviously, they're special because not only do you do CarPlay, you also do internet access, internet browsing, YouTube, Netflix, video, you know, Google Play Store. It's all here. So one of the things you want to do is you want to make sure that you know what you're doing as far as giving it a cellular signal, either SIM card or Wi-Fi hotspot. And we can't stress this enough. You can use Wi-Fi hotspot from your phone or your mobile device. The problem is that Wi-Fi takes over CarPlay. That's the nature of technology. It's either Wi-Fi hotspot or CarPlay connectivity. And when I say CarPlay, I mean Android Auto as well. We get people who call us, hey, I got CarPlay, but the minute I turn on Wi-Fi hotspot to try and use the internet, it kicks off my CarPlay. Well, that's the nature of technology. It's just like if your phone at home is connected to your Wi-Fi network and you want to connect to your neighbor's Wi-Fi network, you can't. It's one or the other. You can't do it to both simultaneously. Cool. So having said that, what I'm going to do now is let me bring the radio in here. But before we do that, actually, I'm going to show you how the side brackets mount here. Let me grab those. So the way these brackets go is you have the top screw hole. Top screw hole is going to be on the inside. So you can mount them like this. Don't mount them like this with the screw holes aiming to the outside. Make sure that you mount them with the screw holes that are at the top. These wings are facing each other instead of away from each other. So let me grab this one and I'm gonna mount that one. All right, so now that the brackets are in place, let me grab the radio. And what I do, I'll grab the foam that is included in the bag, in the box. And I will normally just grab all of my harnesses and try and put the radio here just so I have enough surface to plug all of my connectors in place. All right, so we're gonna put this guy facing down right over here. And first thing I like to do is plug in all of our antennas. 4G LTE are the purple ones. There is no left or right, one or two, as long as you have them both plugged in. Now remember, in regards to HDMI into these radios, we have an additional HDMI module that you can buy separately. There is an HDMI plug on the chassis itself that is an output. So if you want to go to headrest, or if you want to update the rear seat entertainment system in these trucks, there's your opportunity. You could go ahead and now, since you're going to have a SIM card built into the radios, you have a SIM card that you're going to load with the data plan. Guess what? The radio, or if you go with the T-Mobile data plan that we offer or that we can get you access to, you would be able to use the radio as a Wi-Fi hotspot. So not only would you be able to then send the video feed from the radio to your new headrest monitors or your flip down monitor, but if those monitors are smart and they are able to do applications, they will now connect to this radio's Wi-Fi hotspot so that the people in the back don't have to see what the radio is playing. They can have their entire content in the back playing from any application, and you could be doing whatever you want up front. But you could now upgrade, you know, the entertainment system in these vehicles that way. That's just food for thought. Thought I'd throw it out there. What I'm gonna do with the SIM card holder, if for whatever reason you're not ready for it the day of the installation, it is long enough to run to the side of the glove box. So let me try and fish this down while you guys are here. And so I have it here. All right, so there is Wi-Fi, 2 USBs are already in place. And next, I'm gonna take all of our small connectors, plug them into the radio. Top left is black, bottom left is, thank you. Bottom left is off-white. Thank you, John. Yep. Guys, it's hot in here. Can you tell? Can you see me? And this is not for the gram. This is for all of you guys. The gram can wait. We need to know how to do this so that you guys feel confident. So again, top left, black, bottom left, off-white. Next to the off-white is the one that I ran to the glove box. Let me look for that one and see where I left it. It's right over here. So this is my white USB connector. Here it is. Okay. And I'm trying to do this so you guys get some kind of angle where you can see it. Toss link. Power out. OnStar audio. Gray plug. Only one left is the red USB retention one, which is right over here. Don't forget the sensor that we talked about earlier. I don't know which angle is best. Maybe the one behind me. Or maybe the one over there. But there's a spot right here. You know, let me grab the phone. So it latches on this side and it drops right in there. So there's your locking tab over here, and then there's the latch. So it just drops right in, drops there, and this part pushes down and it locks in place. And there's your plug for it. I just couldn't do it with it plugged in. Cool. Let's go back to the other angle. Plug that in there. Okay, so the only thing left is my AM/FM antenna and my main plug. Main plug is right down here. And now I can start to place all these plugs. Everything can rest in the top half of this cavity. You see this right here? This is me, because initially this chassis was facing down. It was mounted horizontal, or it mounted up and down where the plugs were on the bottom. So I was trying to find room to fit. But you know what? Our president said, I don't want anybody having to cut the inside of the vehicle. Let's mount it this way so that all the plugs are here and you have no issues with where to put all of the extra plugs. So guess what? You can now put all the plugs directly behind. And like I said, the beauty is you have all kinds of room back here. Find a sweet spot. So what we'll do next, before we actually start snapping the radio in place, our vents in place. Okay. So here is the right side vent. Only because if you do the radio now, you will not be able to Let me just kind of lean this a little bit right here. All right, so we have everything plugged in. We have our vents in place. And so this is where the locking tabs, one bottom right directly into the bottom of the vent, top right directly into the bracket, same thing with top left and bottom left into the vent and into the top bracket. So once we are here, you know, I don't like pulling this protective film before it's in, but it does get in the way, only because it's so well protected. It wraps around the face of the radio, and so it does get in the way. Okay, so now the two screws that we talked about earlier, let me show them to you. So you're gonna use two of the existing number 7s are gonna go here. This bag that has the there's two screws that are gonna go on the back side from the top to the bottom into those brackets, and these are the caps that are gonna then basically beauty caps are gonna slide right in there to cover what the holes, what the screws look like. So now that we have this in here, let's remove this protective film for now, just so we could turn it on and make sure that we have our steering wheel controls and everything else is functional. So here is ignition. Okay. Driver door is the only one that's closed. All the other ones are still open. So one of the things I want to make sure, once I'm here, I want to open the radio. So swipe up, find your radio application, and wait to hear some static. We've got static, which means our audio is functional. I'm just going to push and hold. So what I do is I press and hold the right arrow on the side of the screen, just so I can see. Now remember, you can swipe up, there's your presets, and then here's the right arrow, left arrow. Let me see if this is night mode, which is good, but let me see if I can make it a little brighter just so you guys can see the buttons, which is good because it doesn't make the camera glare. So there is the radio, and if you swipe up from the home screen, sorry, from the radio screen, right arrow, push and hold it, it's gonna seek to the next station. That's what I use the radio for, just to check sound, steering wheel controls, and everything else. Next, we're gonna get into AC climate controls. Most of these Yukons, Denalis, Suburbans, are gonna probably be dual temp, which means auto AC. And what that means is, it just means that you have two different temp controls, driver, passenger side. So what that means is you're gonna set this to, this is where you would go in to set your AC climate controls. You're telling this radio you're in a vehicle that has auto climate control. So you'll go into settings, system in the upper right hand corner. You're gonna go to setting guide, which is your first option. First option again, car model AC. Now it doesn't say Silverado, it doesn't say Yukon, it doesn't say Suburban. We're going with General Motors because the protocol for the Silverado and Sierra is the same as the Suburbans and the Yukons. We've left it Silverado. So we're gonna go to Silverado Auto instead of manual. Once I do that, it's gonna tell me Silverado Auto AC. You say okay, and now the radio is going to turn off, turn back on to save that setting. How you get to your AC climate controls? Yes, we have the buttons down here. We can start pressing them, but on the screen, the volume knob switches from volume to fan speed and temp. So the minute you switch the bottom banner to the left, the knob is now fan speed. So I'm gonna turn that up once, twice, I'm already getting air. If I press the knob, it switches to temp. So it says 68, I went down one click, 67, down another click, 66. I'm gonna start going clockwise. Now I'm up to temperature temperature 70. If I hit the climate button, it'll give me an entire climate page. So here you'll be able to see that if I switch to fan speed and I go counterclockwise one click, you'll see it go down. Another click, climate again, another click. So now I'm doing temperature down. I'm gonna do temperature up. Now notice that this climate page, I'm here trying to control it, but it times out, like it drops down, and it'll do that after 10 seconds. Well, you can change that by going into your home screen. If you don't see the settings page there, swipe up from the home screen, find the settings page. You'll go into system, upper right hand corner. You'll go down to factory settings. The code to the factory settings is 1660. Press OK. And down at the bottom, so swipe up from the blank areas. Don't swipe up from where there is font, because you might switch something on or off and then you won't know what you did. I always recommend swipe up from the blank areas. And what you're looking for is, you're looking for climate timeout. It is currently set to 10 seconds. I'm gonna set it to, I'm gonna set it to, you can set it to 15, 20, 30 seconds, or you can set it to off so that it never times out. And once I set it to off, down at the bottom, there's another save and reboot option. So I just saved that function. Radio is gonna turn off, turn back on. Our climate page will no longer time out until I come in and press the home button or swipe to the right again and go to the home button. In the meantime, let me get a drink of water. All right, so now that the radio is back up and running, again, I'm gonna swipe over to the left just so that I can get access to my climate controls, and I'm gonna hit the climate button. Now this page will stay on this the entire time. I'm changing, fan speed, I'm changing temperature, I'm changing mode, right? So this is all touchscreen. Now, mode button down here, looks like it doesn't come to life until the vehicle is running, because I can't get it to do anything. So let me, John, should we start it?
Go, buddy.
Oh man, it's hot in here. So okay, let's save that for last. But let's keep moving on forward here. Now remember, you also have rear AC climate controls in this vehicle. If for whatever reason you install this, you only see front, you don't see rear, let's go back to, remember I came to the home screen, right? So settings, upper right hand corner system, down at the bottom, factory settings, 1660, press OK. And as you go up, there is an option that says rear climate. It's probably off. You turn it on, you hit save and reboot at the bottom, let the radio turn off and turn back on. Once it comes back on, go to your climate page by swiping the bottom banner to the left, hit the climate button, and you should now see your rear AC climate controls. When you press that, the entire display changes. Right now, the rear is off. So I can press the power button to turn on the rear AC climate controls, okay? Now, if I go back to front and I hit sync, whatever I do in the front is gonna happen in the back. So my temp in the front is set to 70, my temp in the back is set to 70. Fan speed up, fan speed down. I push the knob now to switch to temp control, temp down. So now all three, passenger, driver, and rear, are set to 69, 68. So all the zones are being controlled by the same user interface, which is the front one. So I'm gonna go back, hit climate. Sorry, I'm gonna hit power off in the rear, front climate, hit power off on that. So that's as far as our AC climate controls, you guys. There's so many different features and functions about this radio. I would highly recommend that you look at our podcast video number 2, which is or is it number 5? I think it's number 2. It's titled VIX Top 5. We go over an arsenal of features and functions, screen, brightness settings, right? But since we're here, let me dim this a little bit just so that our camera doesn't get too glared. So this is manual brightness control on the fly. If I'm driving and you want to turn the screen off, drop that menu down, press that button, screen blacks out, it's still on, it's just black. You touch it, it comes back. Other than that, aside from steering wheel controls, backup camera, AC climate controls, those are all vehicle functions. Now, another thing that makes this particular application unique is every single one of our radios, if you look at the user interface, the knob, the CarPlay, the YouTube, the SIM card, the USB inputs, that's all the same across the board. But what makes this particular radio vehicle specific is when you swipe up, there is an application that says car settings. In here, you have something called console set. This is everything that your factory radio had the ability to control as far as vehicle functions go. You don't lose any of that. The idea is to gain some. So that's what this is. Again, this is what makes this particular radio vehicle specific. And you'll find this inside of, again, the car settings application. I mean, other than reassembling the car, which I guess all you have to do is repeat the same steps backwards, I think that's pretty much it aside from this application. I can't think of anything else that you guys might need to see. Maybe I should start the car now just so we could try the hard buttons. Let me turn it on. So hang on, guys.
5 minutes later.
Yes. So, perfect. Okay. Let me turn this off and I'll tell you guys what the problem is. Let me just open the door, make sure this shuts off. There was a harness that was on our AC control plug. And if you could look from this angle over here, it's right over here. That was not plugged in. And it's right over here. Glad this happened now so you guys know what that plug does. So let me plug it in. It's this harness right over here. And it's labeled to radio. All right, so that's plugged in now. Let me put this back up and we will revisit those buttons. Let me just have it hang there for a minute and we'll start it back up. Open the door, press and hold the power button for 15 seconds so that our ignition gets locked in place. There we go. All right. Radio is back up. Power button once. There we go. So we've got hard buttons are now controlling. Let me swipe this over, open up the climate page, and I'll show you. So fan speed up, fan speed down. We have temperature up, temperature down, recirculation function right over here. Our mode button, rear defrost. We have front. And so there it is. Remember, don't forget to plug in that small plug at the bottom of the chassis of the radio, labeled to radio. Perfect. So other than that, guys, I mean, ask questions if we forgot to share anything with you, but that should give you a lot of insight on how this solution works in these particular vehicles. Don't forget, this happens the last Thursday of every month. At the same time, we also have our podcast. Call us. Let us know that you want to collab. Let us showcase your store in our podcast. And other than that, we'll see you guys on the next one.